to this computer. Before I just begin, I have created a Git link for all our classes, so you can find all our sessions in this Git URL. Okay. If I go to github.com, so you will find all my material in this GitHub training. All you need to do is that you just have to download Git for your desktop. Say, for example, if I already have Git installed in my PC, so I'll not be installing that. But let us say if I go to D drive and go to knowledge, for example, I have this folder called training 2. Okay. And in this training 2, as of now, I don't have my Git folder. So what I should be doing is simply go to this window, type cmd, and you can open that command prompt. So once you get this command prompt, all you need to do is that git clone followed by the URL. So for example, if I have this URL, I'll copy the URL from here. I'll go and paste it. Because I already have Git installed and my credentials are set, it will directly download download a folder called training. And inside training, I'll get all my. So if I do, okay, I cannot list here. So I'll just show you in my folder. So you can see this training folder here. And inside training, you have all this material, like whichever we discussed, all the classes that we discussed so far, you can see all this. Okay. You can set up the Git later on, but for now, let us get started with Pandas. Okay, this is very important session, and we'll be requiring Pandas mostly in all our machine learning tasks. So let me close terminal. I don't require it. So before I go with Pandas, right, I'll just show you a bit about rows and columns if you're not familiar with it. So if you open any structural data, for example, if we have a CSV file, I can open a Excel sheet and show you how a CSV file looks like. So it has got tabular data wherein you have rows and columns. Okay. So I'll just open a blank sheet. Now, all you see in this A, B, C, D, these are the columns. Okay. And in Excel, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 as your rows. Like these are the first 20 rows. Similarly, if you open a Pandas data frame, if you load this particular sheet in Pandas data frame, you can visualize the same way. You will have something like columns as well as indexes. So A, B, C, D, E, F will be your column names, and 1, 2, 3, 4 to 20 will be your indexes. So let's discuss that in detail in Pandas now. So I'll just open. How you install Pandas is by simply saying pip install Pandas. Any command that you are supposed to run in your command prompt. So as I said, we have a terminal here, right? If I go to terminal, this is how the terminal looks like. This command which you see, pip install pandas, is supposed to run in terminal. Okay. Let us say if you don't want to open the terminal every now and then, and you want to execute one command in terminal using your notebook. So how you do that is putting an exclamation mark in the front. So I can go and say pip install pandas here. And whichever, wherever the Python is installed, it will go and install in that particular directory, just in case if you do not have a virtual environment. So in this case, I do not have any virtual environment. Okay, in this case, I do not have any virtual environment. So what it will do is, wherever the Python is sitting in my global directory, it will go and install there. So for now, we don't have to worry about installing it into virtual environment. For now, what we'll do is we'll simply go and install pandas like this. So when you go and install pandas, if it is already installed, it will tell that the library is already installed, and we can skip that. And all you need to do is import pandas as PD. So wherever you're referencing pandas, you will have to use PD as the, like once you use PD dot, it will refer to pandas dot. Okay. So I have installed pip installed pandas. I have imported it as PD. So how you can create an empty data frame is by doing pd.dataframe. So when I go and install it, you can see that the columns are empty, the index is empty. It's an empty data frame. You don't have anything. And if you want to go and see the type of DF, you can notice that it is a Pandas core frame data frame. It is a structured data. So when I say it is a structured data, it has got defined number of rows and defined number of columns. Say, for example, if you want to create a empty data frame with defined number of columns, so what you can do is you can pass a columns parameter. So how you pass a columns is like, this is a list of columns, call 1, call 2, and call 3. So you'll say columns is equal to call 1, call 2, and call 3. And when you declare it, you will see that the columns is this and the index is this, because it's an empty data frame. That's why you don't have any indexes. As I said, it's a combination of.
Sanjeev, hello,
Yeah.
Sanjeev.
Mm.
Ravi, how the import function or that method will work in the background exactly? See, for example, if you are importing the data from any particular this PD Panda, something like that,
Mhm.
how it exactly works?
So what happens is, say for example, I have a file here. Say I'll say it as sanjeev.py. Okay.
Okay,
And in this sanjeev.py, I have a function. Say for example, my function is df test. And for
okay,
now, I'm not taking anything. I'm returning hello.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. In couple of classes back, we discussed about module and package. Okay. So this is a
Okay,
Python file. .py is a Python file. It is a module. Now, when I
okay,
import module, say for example, I import now. So I'll say import Sanjeev as SN.
okay.
So it will look for this file Sanjeev. It is already available. So it will directly import it as SN. So wherever I'm going to reference that code, I can reference as sn.test.
Oh,
So backend,
so
what is happening is the pandas module is installed in your Python directory, as I said. So you will have pandas.py or the pandas package somewhere sitting inside one in the Python directory. From there, you're importing it. So all the code that is available in this pandas is now ready for use.
okay.
You're
So any
simply
module or if anything that should be installed first, then only we can import
correct.
them. Otherwise, we
You
cannot.
cannot do it. Correct, exactly. So let us say if I do not have NumPy in my system, for example. Of course, NumPy is a dependent library for pandas. Say if I don't have NumPy installed in my Python directory, I cannot import it. The moment I go and type it, it says that the directory is not installed. Say for example, import scikit, say scikit, scipy maybe. So if I
Hmm.
import it, if the library is available, you'll see this. Okay, if the library is not available, say I make some spelling
Okay.
mistake. If the library is not available, you see this exclamation, this alarm, like this is not available. Probably you might have to
Okay.
install it like that.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Fine.
that's a good
Okay. So
question.
anything that need to be installed first, then only we can import them. Otherwise, it cannot
We
be
cannot.
imported
Correct.
or it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Okay.
Correct. The import itself will
Okay.
fail, and if the import fails, the whole code will not run.
Okay. Got
Okay.
it.
For now, we don't require this file. I'll just delete that Sanjeev. Yeah. Motorcycle. Okay, so what I'll do is like we are discussing about Pandas data frame. As I said, like in Pandas data frame, we have columns. Okay, if you look at the column, say for example, B is a column in this Excel. Okay, if you take this column alone, this will be a list. Okay, in Pandas,
Mm-hmm.
it is called as Pandas series. So
Panda CD
okay, series. Say for example, if I
series.
take
Okay.
this,
Okay.
if I take this list 1, 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
I can load it as pd dot series
Series.
k equal to like this. Okay, and I'll say
Okay.
type of k. So it will be a series. So internally, though it is treating as a series, internally you can imagine that it is a list.
Okay.
Okay, whenever you are
Mm.
creating a data frame, always keep in mind all the list should be of equal size. The list of each column should be of equal size. Okay, here you have three elements, here you have three elements, here you have three elements. It is a structured
Okay.
data. Okay, if at all you put two elements, you will end up getting an error, or
Something like
maybe
union only in SQL.
yes. So it should, to my knowledge, it should throw an error. Yeah, it is throwing an error. What it says, all arrays must be of same length.
Same length.
Just keep that in mind.
Mm.
It is obvious that all the data should be of equal length, only then it will form a structured data. So I'll just copy it and I'll say it is 22. Now you can see all the list is of length 3. I have columns 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to convert it as a data frame. Now, previously what we did, we were creating an empty data frame. That is the reason why I did not pass any data to it. Here it is an empty data frame. Here it is an empty data frame with 3 columns. And now what I'm doing is I'm creating a data frame with data. And if you look at data, we have a dictionary here. We have a dictionary. This dictionary is, this is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. This is the key, this is the value. Notice that even though it is a dictionary, all the keys are lists. Or sorry, all the values are list. Value 1 is
Values.
list, value 2 is list, value 3 is also list. And then when I go and create a data frame, I'm going to tell now data will be this data, which is nothing but our dictionary. So when I go and convert this, you can notice how a structured data is formed. By default, the indexes are kept from 0 to the count of number of rows. Say in this case, the number of rows is 3. So 3 minus 1, because the Python is going to start from 0, it is going to give 0, 1, and 2 as the indexes. Indexes will come by default. Say I don't give any columns, then it can come as 0, 1, and 2 here also. Okay, but it is easy for you to start off with a dictionary, so this will easily converted. All the keys will convert as column names. Whichever call keys is here, all those keys will be converting as column names. This will get little more complicated from now. Okay, so far we started with an empty data frame. We understood that data frame is a combination of multiple Panda series. Each series consists of data which will behave just like a list. And say, for example, if you want to see the type of data frame, it will tell that it is a Panda score frame data frame. Okay. If you want to look at only one particular column in a data frame, how you can access is df single square bracket, and you'll pass whichever column that you want to subset, and it will bring only that particular column. So in column 1, I have 1, 2, 3. That is why you see 1, 2, 3. Say, let us say if I want to go and print call 3. Now there is a difference between choosing one column and choosing one column as a data frame. So if you want to pull it as a data frame, you will have to use 2 square brackets. So I'll explain more about the single square bracket and 2 square brackets. For now, if at all you want to treat this as a data frame, so you can notice the difference. In this data frame, you have call 1, call 2, call 3, followed by all the values. Whenever you call only one column with one single square bracket, it treats as this 1 to 3. You don't see that column name on the top. See, you don't find a column name on the top. But when you use double square brackets, you get this column name. So this is a data
Mm.
frame and this is a Panda series. So if
Okay.
at all if your requirement is to treat a Panda series, you can choose single column. If your requirement is to treat a part of a data frame as a data frame, then you'll use double square bracket. But we'll look at that more in detail as we go down. I already told you about Panda series. We already discussed about different data types in Python, right? Similarly, each element within the pandas, say for example, you have a column here, you have a column here, you have a column here. So every column will have its own data type. So how you can see all the data types at once is by using data frame dot d types. to capture all the different data types. So we have integer, we have object, we have integer. So wherever it is object, you can treat it as a string column. And you might also see Boolean data type. You might also see, say, for example, float data type and date data type. So these are all the different data types. Whichever is there in Python, all those data types will also be available in Pandas library. Okay. Now, here is one important thing. So usually there is a task for us to create new columns in the data frame for analysis purpose. When you create a new column, it is very easy to create a new column, but there is a catch in here. Say, for example, I want to create a new column. I'll simply say, what is my new column name? And I'll put the value. Okay. When I do this, it will apply the static value to all the rows. So I said static value of 1. So wherever, how many ever rows I have, all the rows will get mapped to 1, 1, 1. Okay. On the other hand, you might also want to have different set of values. So whenever you have different set of values, you need to pass the same length of values. Say, for example, if your data frame shape, so I'm talking about data frame shape now. So data frame shape says you have 3 records and 4 columns. It means that when I say 1, it will repeat 1 3 times automatically. It understands that it is a constant value and all the columns should have the same value. So it will by default, it will put it. Usually, when we try to apply different set of values to a data frame, say after subsetting, we usually end up with this error. This is a common error. What it says, length of value is 4, but length of index is 3. It means that your pandas length is 3, but you are giving me 4 values. I do not know what to do with this. Okay. So this is a common error that you find in pandas. Like whenever you're trying to subset, say for example, you're treating null values. You have a very big data frame, and in one particular column, randomly like 5 values are null. So your intention is to replace those null values with respective null values of that particular feature. Say for example, I'm dealing with a food market. Say I have a different set of fruits. I have pineapple, I have apple, I have kiwi. So a couple of records in pineapple are null, couple of records in apple are null, couple of records in kiwi are null. There are many different ways to replace all the null values in one go. So what I can do is I can simply put the mean, and all of them will have, wherever is the null value, all the null values will have one static value. But I don't want to do that. I want to have mean of pineapples sitting in the null value of pineapple. I want to have mean of apples sitting in apple. I want to have mean of kiwis sitting in kiwi. So when you try to apply some conditions on the left and on the right, if the shape doesn't match, you end up getting this error. This is very important. Okay. Of course, I'm not doing any subset, but I want you to get used to that error which we just saw. Index is 3, but the length of values is 4. If you The moment you see this error, you have to recollect that I'm passing wrong length of data values. Okay, just keep that in mind. So what should be the correct way of doing it? The correct way of doing it is pass the correct length of values. Say if I say 1, 2, 3, because my data frame size is only 3, I can see that 1, 2, 3 is getting mapped to respective columns. I created a new column called one more column. Okay, this is very important. I'll repeat this session. I'll repeat this topic when I'm going to subsetting. Okay, I'll cover the subsetting today itself. So just keep this in mind. If at all you get this error, it means that the list of values on the right side is not matching the length of data frame on the left side. Okay. I already discussed about data frame shape. The first one is the number of rows, and the second one is number of columns. Okay. We have already discussed about creating a say function. Okay. Here is a simple function. What I'm going to do is read from source, and I'm passing a path and simply returning pd.read_csv. You can make it more complicated based on the type. Say, for example, I'll say type is a keyword. I'll say extension. If ext is equal to dot csv, return this. We can add more features to it. I can say elif ext is equal to excel. You can say return pd.read_excel defined by path. I can also say if it is a pickle file, I can load it from pickle. So you can make this function more and more dynamic as you keep looking at different set of files. Say for now we will be dealing with CSV files, but later on we might see Excel files, we might see pickle files, we might see some JSON lib files. So there are different files available that through which you can store the data frame. So whichever is the extension, based on that extension you can add an elif and you can keep reading, converting that path to the you can load that particular path file into the memory by using pandas. Okay, for now we don't require it, so i'll say ext is equal to csv. Okay, this is not a keyword document, but it's okay, it will work. So I loaded my csv file. In data I have a file called ibm_hr. This is a CSV file. So what I'll be doing is I'll simply loading the CSV file using this function. I'll call the function. I need two attributes. First is a path. Second is extension. If you don't want to do with the function, you can directly say pd.read_csv and then your path name. But it's better if you keep writing functions from now, so that every little thing that you come across, if you can think that you can convert it as a function, you start making those changes as a function. So this one line, it is not necessary for us to create a function, but once if you understand how to convert this one line as a function, then you can apply a 10-line logic as a function, then you can convert that as a function too. Okay, so I just loaded that as IBM_HR. You notice the type is pandas core data frame.
సాధ్యమైనంత వరకు మనము ఫంక్షన్స్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ ఫంక్షన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని యూస్ చేసుకోవడం మేలు కదా.
Yes, of course. As many as functions, it is very good for the programming. అంటే అప్పుడు ఏంటి, సేమ్ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ అంతా ఒక ఫైల్లో పెట్టుకొని ఆ ఫంక్షనాలిటీస్ మీరు ఎక్కడ పడితే అక్కడ వాడుకోవచ్చు. సే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు నాకు డేటా రీడింగ్ అంతా ఒక ఫైల్లో పెట్టుకుంటాను. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు డేటా రీడింగ్ లో నేను ఆల్రెడీ ఒక సిఎస్వి ఫైల్ గురించి చెప్పాను, ఎక్సెల్ ఫైల్ గురించి చెప్పాను, అలాగే పికల్ ఉంది. సో ఇలాంటి ఫంక్షన్స్ ఏదైతే ఫైల్ హ్యాండ్లింగ్ ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ ఒక్క ఫైల్లో పెట్టుకోవచ్చు, పైథాన్ ఫైల్లో. Anything to do with file handling ని ఆ ఫంక్షన్ లో పెట్టుకుంటా. సో whenever I want to import, I can import from that file and then I can use it in my wherever I want to use it, I can use it. Okay,
Reusability.
reusability అంటే దాన్ని లూజ్లీ కపుల్డ్ అంటారు. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీకు కార్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ కంపెనీ ఉంది అనుకోండి. Now car manufacturing company, you can notice that the body is made somewhere else, the glass is fitted somewhere else, the interiors of the door is fitted somewhere else, the seat is fitted somewhere else. So everything is loosely coupled, and you can call any task whenever you want. Say I want to call the car seats first rather than the windshield, so I can do that. Or if I want to call the windshield first, then the car seats, I can do that. So everything is loosely coupled. So if you have that functionality ready, whenever you want, you can call it. If you don't need it, it is there. Okay, like that. So I just showed about shape. I can print the first top 5 records by using head. So if I want to print top 10 records, I can pass 10 here and it will print the top 10 records. Notice that the index is starting from 0. So when I say it is first record, it means 0th index. And when I say it is second record, it is first index, and so on. And then if you want to look at index,
This index every time it shows, right? If we don't want to see the index at all, so there is any function to mean
no,
index is
data
mandatory,
frame,
obviously.
it is mandatory. You will see it. One or the other
Yeah.
index. It need not be numbers, it can be string also. One or the other index, for sure you'll see it. It is same like Excel, right? You cannot say that I don't want to
Yeah.
look at ABCD.
Yeah.
Okay, same like that.
Yeah, you
Just
are here. See, in the Excel, the columns are called series, but what about rows in Pandas? Is there any name for that?
it is called as index. A row is called row only,
Row only, right?
right? Row.
So
How
in
you
Excel,
access it
we
by
call
using index.
column as a series in Pandas.
Yeah, when I say column as series, I refer to whole this one. It not just B.
Okay.
The whole
Okay.
whole part of it, the whole column
Okay.
values of it. Okay.
Similarly, rows, I mean, if five number row, if we are taking, is there any name for Pandas in
No,
Panda?
we can use index only by referring the index. Same
Index.
like how you use columns, you can refer the index. It can pull out all the values. So I'll explain that by when I'm going to LOC and .loc,
Okay.
lock and .iloc.
Okay.